Hello YouTube, so welcome back to another video. Um, I know it's been a while since I last uploaded a video to my channel, but like I mentioned in the community tab, I started work again on Tuesday and time is not on my side anymore. And not only that, but the job that I do is kind of taxing. It's a bit physically demanding, and I always leave so tired that, the last thing I want to do when I get back from work is set up the camera, set up the tripod, and, start recording and getting all of this stuff ready. But it is what it is. So, in today's video, I am going to talk about the things that you need for when you're a first time reborn parent. You're expecting your very first reborn. What are the things that you actually need to have before that doll gets to you? So, to start off, this is the obligatory disclaimer. You don't actually need any of these things. These are just doll accessories. They're not necessities. A doll is a doll, is a luxury. It's not something that you need. So, yeah, none of these are needs. These are just accessories, like I said. But I'm just going to talk about my personal recommendations for the items that you want to have on hand before the doll gets to you, because they're just going to make life so much easier for you. So the items that I'm going to mention are in no particular order except for this first one. This one, I would say this is the most important one, and I think it's the one that we tend to fill with the most when we are just getting our first reborn. I know I filled this one because you're getting your first reborn, you're so excited, and you kind of go, baby crazy, baby fever, and you just want to go shopping for all the clothes and all the cute stuff. And we tend to forget the very important essential things. And this first thing is a place to display your reborn where they are undisturbed. So basically, you need a space in your home for your reborn to be in, to exist, without it being disturbed. So it cannot be in an area that you are constantly moving things around. So for example, if you have a corner on, let's say, a desk, you may have a desk in your bedroom, you can put them on a little, corner on the desk. But if you're constantly moving things around, if it's an area of high activity, you have your laptop, you have your books, notebooks, whatever, and you are constantly shifting and moving things around, that might not be the best place, especially if you do have to move your reborn out of the way to put other things in it while you are using your desk. That's not the kind of place where you want your reborn to be. Now, you're going to see on YouTube, people have nurseries, people have entire rooms dedicated to their dolls. That's not a reality for most of us. We don't have that kind of money or space in our home for, just to have an entire room to our dolls. Some people even have them in the closet. If that's the option for you, go for it. Like, there's no shame here. It doesn't have to be something specifically made for a doll. Like, some people have bassinets, they have cradles, rockers, bouncers, Moses baskets, boppies, those things are made specifically for babies. You don't have to have an item that's made specifically for a baby. You don't need a stroller or a car seat. If you can get them, good for you, all the better. But for example, where Kwame is right now, this is actually a planter holder that I found at Marshall's on clearance. So it doesn't have to be anything like high-end or expensive or made specifically for babies or reborns. It could be anything. You can put them on a shelf. You can put them at the top of your drawer. You can put them on a nursing pillow in the floor. If you do have the floor space, you can put them on a sofa if you have a sofa, as long as they are undisturbed. If you can't afford a nursing pillow, you can use just a regular like neck pillow for travel, and they can rest there completely fine. They're a doll, they're not going to protest about it. But like I said, the important thing is that they just lay there undisturbed. It's going to make life so much easier for you because they're not in the way of your stuff. You don't have to move them or shift them and, have them constantly change place to place, so that they don't interfere with your stuff. And yeah, there are many, many, many options aside from the items that I just mentioned that are for babies. If you go to McPherson's, they have some hangers that are made for dolls. Some people use the planter holders that go from your ceiling. If you don't have a lot of floor space, but you do have wall space, you can use those hammocks from McPherson's, or you can get a planter holder. Some people use storage shelves, storage cubes, whatever. There are no rules here. It doesn't have to be anything fancy. It doesn't have to look nice, as long as it's practical. So that is my first item. The other ones, like I said, these are no specific order. So let's just wing it. So the second item that I have is leaning more towards a want, because you don't have to get this item if you don't want to, but that is diapers. And I remember that when I first got into Reborns, I was so confused about why people were buying diapers for their dolls. I'm like, what? It's a doll. They're not going to use a diaper. Shouldn't that be one of the plus sides to a doll, that you don't have to spend money on diapers? Why would I buy one? But there is use to a diaper besides role play. So baby clothes are obviously designed with babies in mind, real babies. Babies that will be wearing a diaper. Babies that will be wearing a diaper that they are going to use, and it is going to expand throughout the day as they get use out of it. And so the clothes are meant to, allow space for that diaper to be in and to expand. So you're going to find that onesies might be very long on the torso, as well as pants. They're going to look way too high rise, but really that is just a space for the diaper to be in. Can you have your doll without a diaper on? Of course. They don't have to wear the diaper, like I said. But be prepared, because clothes are not going to fit them very nicely. It's going to be quite loose. It's going to be quite baggy down, in the crotch area, because that is where the diaper should be, and it is not. So the diaper helps with the clothes to fit better. It helps with the realism as well, not just for the looks, but when you hold them, it feels much more real. So a diaper is something that I recommend that you have on hand. Now, you can wait until you receive your doll. You don't have to go out of your way to buy these before the doll arrives to you, because artists and sellers usually do send, at the very least, 2 diapers with their dolls. But in both of my experiences with Reborns, I've been sent diapers that were way too big for the dolls, and they don't fit them. Kwame, he arrived with 2 size 1 diapers, and he is a preemie doll. And then my newborn size doll arrived with a size 1 and a size 2 diaper, and she is a very small newborn. So that is why I mentioned these as being something good to have on hand before the doll arrives to you, because you can wait for the diapers to arrive, in your box opening, but they might be very big and you might need to get, the proper size. Now, with diapers, especially the smaller size like preemie and newborn, they usually come in very huge packs like this. This is a Huggies Little Snugglers, and this is a pack of 31 diapers. That is a lot. This is going to last me several years, honestly. Because you don't actually need to change your dolls very often. You might see a lot of people on YouTube that are constantly changing their dolls' diapers. That's not needed. That's mostly for roleplay purposes. A diaper can last on your doll anywhere from a couple of months to like a year, maybe more, depending on how hands-on you are with your doll. Now, there will come a time that you will need to change your doll's diaper because it's going to lose its shape. It's going to become quite flattened. It might, I'll insert a picture here from the last time that I changed Kwame and why I changed him. His diaper was like destroyed because of the changing of his clothes. I've had him since October and I've only changed his diaper twice. So the first time that I changed Kwame was right when he got home to me from the artist. I just immediately changed his diaper. He was wearing a size 1, so I changed him into the newborn size diaper, which fit him a lot better. And then the second time was like a few weeks ago because his diaper got all, disheveled. And that's really the only time that you'll ever need to change the diaper on your doll is when they lose their shape and they become kind of flat. But that can happen, like I said, in any period from a couple of months to like several years if you're not very hands-on with your doll. And because you don't really need to change them very frequently, something like this gigantic package of 31 diapers might seem pretty excessive. It might be very wasteful. If you feel like that's too wasteful for you, there are sellers on Etsy and eBay that sell accessories for reborn dolls. Like, for example, the lady that I got this bottle from, she sells individual or sets of 3 diapers for your dolls. There are several reborn accessory shops like that sell either individual diapers or sets of 3 diapers. So you just get the print that you want, the size that you want, and they will send you just 3 diapers. And those 3 diapers, they're going to last you quite some time. You can also get cloth diapers, and that way they will last you forever, probably. You don't need to get like diapers for your doll ever. It is a bigger investment, but you're going to save yourself a lot of money because you don't need to dispose of any diapers. Basically, if the diaper loses its shape, it becomes quite flattened. You can just take them off, put them in the washing machine. They're good as new. Put them back on, no problem. So those are some options for you for diapers. But like I said, if you don't want your dolls to wear diaper, they don't have to wear diapers. The next item that I would say is an essential is a onesie, a plain white onesie. They can be short sleeve, long sleeve, or sleeveless. It depends on your needs, on your doll, and the clothes that you get for the doll. So there are several uses to a white onesie and always having one on your doll. Kwame actually has a onesie underneath this onesie right now. So the main one that people, use the onesies for is to protect the painting on the doll, as well as protecting the cloth body. So basically, there are clothes. You might have heard this little tip before to not get your reborns very dark clothes to avoid dark colors like navies, bright reds, black, because they can stain the vinyl. Those colors, they can bleed, they can transfer from the clothes to the doll's vinyl and they can stain them. And removing those stains can be very difficult or completely impossible sometimes. They can also stain the cloth body. And in the case of Kwame here, for example, he has a stamp on the back of his cloth body. If you watch my details video of this doll, you would know that he has a stamp on the back of his cloth body that has the artist name and the nursery name. So it's, it's proof of authenticity of her work. And so I don't want to get that ruined. I don't want to have to change his cloth body because it got stained. Same with people who sign their dolls. They have the signature from the artist on the cloth body. You want to protect that. So having a white onesie underneath the doll's clothes at all times is just a protective measure in case that the clothes do bleed and do transfer. That color will fall on the onesie and not on the doll itself. So that is just a, a method of prevention to protect your doll as much as possible from clothes bleeding. You still want to steer away from dark colors. That's my recommendation, as well as always washing the clothes before you put them on your doll. But it's still good to have a white onesie underneath. So if they're wearing like a long sleeve red shirt, put a long sleeve white onesie underneath. The other use is if the doll is 3/4 limb, the white onesie helps conceal their cloth body. So I have Cheyenne, and she is 3/4 limbs. And I always have a white onesie underneath all of her clothes. And the white onesie that I have is preemie size, so that it's more snug on her, so that no matter the clothes that I put on her and the position that I put her in, you will always just see the white onesie underneath, and it just looks like a little shirt instead of her cloth body. If you have a doll like Gaunchin or Gunchin, for example, by Chensa, he is 1/4 limb. So basically he just has like up to here. That's where the vinyl stops. And then the rest of the arm is cloth body. So in his case, he always has to be wearing a long sleeve onesie underneath. And that just helps to conceal the cloth body. It helps with the realism. And the last reason to have a white onesie on your doll at all times is, for example, in the case of Kwame, he is a preemie doll. He's on the bigger side of preemie, but sometimes preemie clothes can run really big. And this onesie that he's wearing right now, this is from the Laughing Giraffe. It's quite big. And having a onesie underneath just helps fill up more space, so to speak, so that the onesie doesn't look as big on him because he has more clothes underneath that are taking up space, essentially. So there are many uses to having onesies, and I recommend that you get just plain white onesies. You're gonna get a lot of use out of them. So the next items that I recommend that you get for your doll are socks or booties and hand mittens. Because if you're very hands-on with your doll and you like to hold them and pick them up and, kiss them and all that stuff, they're going to start to wear over time. It's not going to happen immediately, but the varnish will wear off over time, and that will leave the paint layers exposed. When the paint layers are exposed, the paint can come off, and they will lose color. But when the varnish starts to wear off, you're going to notice that the doll becomes shiny. That's when you know that the varnish has worn off and the paint layers are exposed. And usually the first places where this is going to happen are going to be on the hands and the feet, because that's usually the place, that's the first point of contact whenever we are changing our dolls, but also that those are usually the places that we tend to like touch our dolls the most. Even if we don't handle them, even if we just see them, we're like, oh, so cute. We always like tend to go for the feet or the hands. So that's the places that they're going to show wear and tear from both changing them and, just touching them. So to avoid that happening, it's always good to have socks and mittens on them at all times. And that just helps prevent that wear and tear from happening. So, like I said, it's just prevention. This is just to maintain your doll in as much of a pristine shape as possible. So the next item, or items I should say, are going to be a brush, makeup brush, and baby wipes. And this is to dust off your doll because your doll will accumulate dust inevitably. If you're not super hands-on with them, and obviously you don't want to be like constantly holding them because you want to protect them and their paint. But if you just let them sit for a very long time, they're going to accumulate a lot of dust eventually, and you want to dust them. So the first thing that you're going to need is a makeup brush. Can be any kind of makeup brush. You don't need anything ridiculously expensive, as long as it is soft. So this is like super soft. It's very dense. As you can see, it's quite short. Some people have makeup brushes that are bigger, but I like this one because it's a bit smaller. And in the case of Kwame, it really helps me get into like the very tiny crevices, like the eyes, the nose, little wrinkles on his hands. So that's why I have this one, but you can get like a bigger, fluffier brush if you desire, as long as it is very soft. And I always keep mine in the plastic container that it came in so that it doesn't pick up any other dust and doesn't get dirty. I keep this in a drawer, but always have it in its plastic case so that it doesn't pick up on any other kind of dirt. And this brush I use exclusively on my dolls. I don't use them for my actual makeup. This is just for the dolls. So get a brush that is only for your dolls to use and keep it in a case where they're not in contact with anything else. The other thing are baby wipes, which I don't have. I mean, I have baby wipes at home, but not for my dolls. I've tried to clean my dolls with them, but they leave residue. Like, they leave little, I don't know how you call them, but they leave some kind of residue, like little fluffy things all over them, and I don't like that, so I end up, just brushing them anyways. And you don't want to be constantly wiping your doll. It's best to just use the makeup brush as much as you can, unless it's like really bad or they have some kind of like stain or residue from something. Then that's when you want to wipe them down. The wipes that most collectors recommend are water wipes because they are 99.9% water and then the rest is fruit extract. I've never tried them, so I can't vouch for them. But if you have a hard time finding water wipes like me, I don't get water wipes at my regular, drugstore or department store or whatever. There are Huggies. Huggies has a specific type of wipe that is called Pure, I believe, and they are also 99.9% water, in case you have trouble finding water wipes. But both of them are good to have because you do want to keep your doll, clean and all of that, and you don't want to damage them. Very important, do not use any kind of wipe that has alcohol on them. Do not. So disinfecting wipes are a no-no. So yeah. And then the last item that I have is also like the diapers. It's leaning more towards a want. And you can also just wait until your doll arrives for you to see if this is something that you want to go out and purchase or if you're fine. and that is a blanket. So chances are, more often than not, your doll will arrive to you wrapped in a blanket. So you can just wait until the doll gets to you, and just use the blanket that the artist or the seller sent with the doll. However, just like with the diaper issue, they might not send a very good blanket. With my first Reborn experience, the seller sent a very, very cheap, cheap, a very bad quality blanket. It was really thin. It's very rough in texture. It's not good for a doll at all. It was so bad. I still have it, like, to remind myself, but it's always good to have a good a good quality soft and very plush blanket for your doll. And there are many uses for that. You can swaddle your doll. I usually, if I'm going to pick him up, I don't just like directly pick him with my hands. I will like tuck my hands underneath the blanket and just pick him up like that. And yes, I have another blanket underneath. So that I can protect his vinyl as much as possible. It's good to lay them on a blanket. This planter holder, it doesn't have like a solid base underneath. It just has these sort of wooden dowels going like across. So it's not a solid bottom. So I have to put the blanket for him to lay on. Yeah, so the blanket's going to be multi-purpose. It's going to be on the place where the reborn is resting. It can help with the swaddling. It can help with while you are holding him, you are holding the blanket as well. It can also be used for photo shoots. It makes a really good backdrop so that, you know, you're not showing whatever messiness you might have in your home. Let's be real, we don't have perfect homes. It can be used as a backdrop for photo shoots and for videos. So multi-purpose, but like I said, you can wait until you receive your doll and see what blanket they come home with. It's just good to have one on hand just in case. Especially because you might really, really need these for whatever place you choose to display your dolls in. So that is everything. Those are all of my personal recommendations. A lot of people have made videos like this and everyone mentions something different. I just want to give you my perspective because some of us don't have a lot of money to spend on doll items. We spend most of our money on the Reborn itself. And there are just, you don't really need much starting out. You just need a couple of essentials. The rest of the things you can just get over time. The clothes, the bottles, the pacifiers, all of that you can just get slowly over time if you're on a very, very tight budget. These are the items that I recommend. Some people have made this video and they have mentioned very nonsensical stuff as things that you need. So I really wanted to make this video and mention, you know, what are the essentials in my opinion. So if you have any personal recommendations of items that you feel are a must-have for first-time reborn parents, please let me know in the comments. And I will see you guys in the future. Thanks for watching. Bye-bye.